Hello and welcome back to my favorite video to make, an anti-haul. This is only my second ever anti-haul video. I will make sure I leave the first one in the cards for you up top so you can watch my first one if you want to, that I did a couple months ago now, I believe. And if you're not familiar, an anti-haul is basically where I go through recent makeup launches and tell you which ones I do not want and why. I believe the idea started originally here on YouTube from Kimberly Clark, and it's just kind of grown from then. She started this whole thing, and now everyone is doing anti-hauls, so I love a good anti-haul, so I'm gonna do them too. Of course, the disclaimer is that, you know, just because I don't like these products doesn't mean you don't like these products, and just because maybe these I don't think will work for me or are feasible for me doesn't mean that they're not good products for you. It just means that I don't want these, and this is why I don't want them. I don't hate any of these brands. I don't hate any of these people. I just don't like these products. So the very first thing I want to talk about in this video is probably the most controversial, maybe second most controversial, but we'll get to the other one later. What I'm trying to say here is I want to talk about this. The Kim Kardashian West Cream Contour Kits. Now, I want to tell you right now that I don't hate Kim Kardashian. I don't hate the Kardashian Jenners in general, and quite frankly, I find a lot of the hatred towards that family to be almost anti-feminist, because people that I hear hate the family, they don't ever really seem to have a reason. They just hate them because they have money. And it's like, that's okay. You can be jealous if you want to, but call it jealous. Don't say, you know, I hate them, blah, blah, blah. And then when someone goes, why? Just be like, well, they didn't do anything for the money. You can't help the family that you're born into. And if anything, I have mad respect for, like, Kourtney, Khloe, Kim, Kylie, Kendall, because they were born into money and then didn't just sit and loaf in money for their whole lives. I mean, reasonably could have, but instead they decided to take these industries that they were born into and grow it and make it this media empire and have a gajillion dollars instead of just $1 zillion. And I don't know, I don't have any ill will towards any of the Kardashian Jenners except for the gold medal Olympian, and that's because she's kind of terrible. But Kim, what are these contour kits? You are the queen of contour. What are these kits? I was rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you! How dare you! Learn something from this!
We have all seen the videos where people on YouTube have even still given these a good review, even after they rolled them up and they've broken off, like, in their hands. Or they roll them up all the way, and there's like the tiniest little bit of product. And you pay, I believe these cost over $40 US. Because they're sold out, it won't show me on the website how much they cost, but I believe they're like $48 for the kit US, and that means they're like probably way more expensive in Canadian dollars, plus shipping, plus all of that. So really, I look at these and you're getting hardly any product. I haven't heard anyone say anything nice about the highlighting sticks. I think the Tulle stick looks terrible. You're never going to be able to use that sponge side. Anyone who uses makeup knows those sponges on a stick don't work. They just don't work. The brush doesn't look special, you know, so you're paying this like $48 for these two little nubbins of two different colors of contour, and that's just unreal. The packaging, I don't mind the color, but it looks really cheap. Like, it looks like dollar store makeup. Honestly, I'm curious about the consistency of the product themselves. What little product you get, I'm curious about its consistency, because every video that I have seen of Kim herself using these, she has like a borderline reflective face, which insinuates to me that she's got a lot of like face oil on, and then she never puts on foundation the way the rest of us would. She just goes straight in with the contour. So to me, that tells me that you need to have like a really oily, really, like, I don't want to say hydrated, because I don't think you could achieve that with moisturizer. I think you could just achieve that with oil. So you need to have an oily face in order to get it to slide on the way she does. And I just don't think any part of these contour kits look worth it. Am I shutting down all of Kim's beauty brand right now? No, because I'm sure she will come out with more products, and she will learn the same way Kylie learned over however long with how many launches. But for Kim, the queen of contour, to come out with a contour kit that I think looks like garbage, I'm so disappointed. Kim, I expected so much better from you. Next on this list is the more controversial topic, and that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. Real talk, when this palette launched, I didn't really want it to begin with, because the colors just don't appeal to me, honestly. It's just a lot of yellow and a lot of like dark green, and I feel like neither of those shades look particularly good on my skin tone. That's not the real reason for me not wanting this palette. The real reason for me not wanting this palette is the Anastasia Beverly Hills team and how they have handled negative press. I think there is definitely a right way and a wrong way to handle negative press. And the right way is to go, I'm sorry, we messed up, we'll fix it. And on one hand, they kind of did that because they are accepting returns of this eyeshadow palette. But there has been so much shade, if you will, thrown since this palette came out. Because so many, YouTubers go to use this eyeshadow palette and it makes a huge mess everywhere. And then I believe Norvina was rude about it, and then they were rude about it on the Anastasia Beverly Hills Instagram when they were like, well, if you know how to use it. And I just think that if you're going to come out with an eyeshadow palette that is like marketed to everyone, you want consumers to buy this eyeshadow palette, it should be easy to use. And I realized that they were trying to go for like super duper pigmented. But, I mean, there is such a thing as too pigmented, and I think they took this too far. And the other part of that is that they tried to market this palette as the sister palette to the Modern Renaissance palette. The Modern Renaissance palette is like super popular. It's an amazing palette. I even have a Modern Renaissance palette. And I just think if you're going to market something as a sister palette to something that's super, super popular, why would you change the formula? I don't understand that. Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Why do they try to fix their most popular formula? I don't get it. One more selection of eyeshadow palettes for you here. I'm talking about the Sephora Pro palettes. Now, I'm talking about the warm and the cool palettes, not the editorial palette, because that one I would actually think about buying, because it is hard to get bright colored eyeshadow palettes that are like good quality, and there's a lot in them. It is hard to find those. I think Kat Von D is often the closest you're going to get, but a lot of other brands are scared to go into that bright category because they think no one wants to buy it, no one wants to wear it. Little do they know that we're all like, yes, give me blue eyeshadow, give me pink eyeshadow. But, a lot of them like to stick to the neutral tones. And the reality of the situation with the warm and the cool tone palette is when you look at this palette, there's like probably 8 dupes of each eyeshadow in them. Like, I bet you could use one of these whole rows on your eyes and it would all look like the same color. It looks a little bit different in the pan, like a little bit different, but it's going to look the same on your eyes. You do not need this many eyeshadows of the similar tones in one palette. You just don't. It looks pretty in the pan. It's not going to make a difference on your eyes. It's just not necessary. The other part of why I would never buy these palettes is because they're $85 for, like I said, lots of the same colors. $85 Canadian is a lot of money. I would never even blink an eye at an $85 eyeshadow palette, and just the fact that they feel like they can market these palettes at $85 for all of these super similar shades, I don't understand. I don't know why I feel like they could have cut these palettes in half, cut the price in half, and they probably would have ended up selling more because people can rationalize spending $40 or $50 on a palette when there's a lot of great colors in it, whereas $85 on a palette with like repeat colors in it, it's not going to happen. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video, it's kind of a broader topic, but I'm going to use these 2 products as samples. The Sunday Riley Good Genes, I think it's an oil, and the Drunk Elephant Vitamin C Firm thing. Here's my issue with Sunday Riley and with Drunk Elephant. Y'all are expensive. Nobody needs to be that expensive. I don't know what ingredients you are putting in your product, but let me tell you, I don't make enough money to spend $100 plus on one step in my skincare. I hardly make enough money to spend $30 every couple months on my face toner that I run through like water, let alone $100 on this, and I don't even know how long this lasts. I'm sure that these products are great. I'm sure they work fine on your skin. I'm sure that there's no problem with them at all. That price point makes it unreal. And the fact that products like Sunday Riley and like Drunk Elephant are becoming so like mainstream because, the PR companies are sending them out to all the YouTubers. So every time we go on the internet, which used to be the place where we would go where we were like marketing free because it was just people talking about their products not paid for. Now we're seeing all these people who we thought were like chill like us using $100+ skincare morning and night. And it's just like, I don't know what planet they live on where they can afford this. But I can't afford this. And I don't really have an issue with either brand in particular. Like, I don't really have anything bad to say about Sunday Riley or about Drunk Elephant. I have something bad to say about their extreme prices, though. Like, you gotta calm down those numbers, man. And so, yeah, that's really all I want to talk about in this anti-haul video. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And if there's anything that's been super hyped up on the internet in the makeup world that you just would not buy for whatever reason, I definitely want to know about that. Spill all the tea. Do all of that in the comment section. I want to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and you hit subscribe if you have not subscribed already. And I will see you next time. Bye!